Hello and welcome back to Study History with Mr. P. In today's video, I'm going to focus on the settlement of religion by Elizabeth I. Before you watch this video, it might be handy for you to watch my previous video, which summarises the key aspects of the English Reformation. This will make it much easier then to understand my summary of what Elizabeth did with her religious settlement. So Elizabeth's religious settlement came in three parts. It was designed to be accepted by as many of her subjects as possible, regardless of their religion. And most people did accept the settlement and attended Church of England services. So the first part was the Act of Supremacy. This made Elizabeth supreme governor of the Church of England. All clergy and all royal officials had to swear an oath of allegiance to her as the head of the church. Under the Act of Supremacy, there was an ecclesiastical high commission with the job of maintaining discipline within the church and enforcing the Queen's religious settlement. Members of the clergy whose loyalty was in doubt could be punished. 8,000 priests and important clergy did commit, though, to the Act of Supremacy, which was viewed as a success, because at the time there were only 10,000 parishes in England. But only one bishop took the oath. The others all had to step down, and 27 new bishops were appointed by Elizabeth. There was then also the Act of Uniformity. This established the appearance of churches and the form of services that they held. It introduced a set form of church services through the Book of Common Prayer to be used in all churches. The clergy had to use the wording of the prayer book when conducting services, and anyone who refused was punished. The wording, though, of the services was deliberately unclear, so that, for example, Catholics could take it as meaning that the bread and wine became the body and blood of Christ, whilst Protestants could simply take it as an act of remembrance. The Act made it clear that priests were to wear a special form of clothing in order that everybody had to attend church on a Sunday and other holy days or be fined 1 shilling for every absence. This was a really expensive fine for ordinary people, so not attending church on a Sunday could total a week's pay. The third aspect were the royal injunctions, which were issued by Sir William Cecil on behalf of the Queen to the clergy on a wide range of issues, and these essentially reinforced the Act of Supremacy and Uniformity. And they covered issues such as the fact that all the clergy were meant to teach about the royal supremacy, that anyone who refused to attend church was reported to the Privy Council, that each parish was to have a copy of the Bible in English, that no one was allowed to preach without a license from the government, that pilgrimages and monuments to fake miracles were banned. This left the possibility that some miracles might be real and made the settlement more widely acceptable. The clergy wore special clothes known as special vestments. There were instructions on how people would worship God and the structure of services. And there was an allowance for images in church, which would allow them to keep their familiar look for worshippers, going back to the Catholic religion, and again helped to make Elizabeth's changes less unsettling. So the Church of England played a key role. It gave guidance to communities, it enforced the religious settlement, it legitimised the power of the Queen, it ran the church courts, and it controlled what was preached. So in these church courts, there was mainly a focus on religious matters, but it did act on a range of minor disputes relating to moral issues, including marriage, sexual offences, and slander. And church courts also dealt with wills and inheritance. So when it came to enforcing the religious settlement, well, the church was responsible for this. Bishops regularly carried out inspections of churches and the clergy, which were known as visitations, to ensure that everybody was following the oath of supremacy and the terms of the settlement. The first of these visitations did actually take place in 1559 and resulted in up to 400 clergy being dismissed. After 1559, these took place every 3 to 4 years. In some places, destruction of statues and decorations took place. This was more than Elizabeth wanted, and so she therefore made it clear that she did not want people's religious beliefs investigated too closely. And this was all about really creating uniformity within England in a way that Catholics could accept her as Queen and accept her religious settlement alongside Protestants.